Okay.
All right. Today is March 11th, 2026. It's 6:32. I hereby call the Scott County Advisory Plan Commission meeting to order. Just to kind of answer any questions to begin with. This is an advisory plan commission. Any final decision, especially on this particular one with the change in the zoning, will be done by the commissioners at their next meeting. We will send them a recommendation of yes, pass it, no, denied, or we don't care. You make your own choice, kind of a up in the air kind of things. The order of business that we do is that we will have petitioners speak, explain to us the amount of acreage, all the details. And then we will ask for members of the crowd who have questions or wish to speak in opposition. And those questions should be directed to us. Eventually, we will try to get clarification on those. Then we will ask for those who wish to speak in favor. And then we'll close that public portion. And we'll ask questions amongst ourselves. And then we'll vote. Again, we'll vote to pass it. We'll vote to deny it. Or a no, a neutral recommendation. So, next order of business, could I have, starting down at that end, members introduce themselves?
I'm Mark Gardner.
Stacy Turner, Director.
Carla Gann, attorney.
Clint James.
Andrew Boswell.
J.R. Ward, County Council President.
Matt Oberlees.
Jonathan White. John Hauser.
Gary Green, member. Thank you. We also had sent to us was minutes from the last meeting. I'll take a recommendation to adopt those minutes.
Motion approved.
I
Second.
have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Let the record show that the motion is passed. We got a new member tonight?
We do.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're taking Tom's place?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, good enough then. Under new business, we have a rezoning application. I'll let the applicant kind of speak to it. We met all the legal obligations concerning this. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
Afternoon, folks. Austin Dawkins representing KGF Homes. The petition we have today is we've got 7 parcels in the town of Lexington, and it's a total of about 3.3 acres, and it's currently zoned agriculture. We want to rezone that to R1, I believe was the appropriate designation that was told us, and we want to do that to make it possible to build residential homes there. It's a part of the original town of Lexington. It's already platted, already part of that town. It's just been zoned agriculture rather than residential. So we want to pull it back to that residential state and be able to build new homes on that. Based on the surrounding area, very, very similar to what we want to do. They're already parceled off small, similar to what we're doing. And it really will fit right into what's already there. It's what we feel like was originally intended, being that it was part of the town. So that's the entirety of what I have to say. I'm glad to take questions or to sit down.
And I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear your name.
No, Austin Dawkins.
Okay, and if you don't care to sign in?
Sure.
We'll get to the board portion, but can you describe within the city, where we at within Lexington?
Okay, so we border Alexander Street, and then there are a couple of streets that were dedicated but never built. So within that parceling that we have would be a couple of unimproved streets, but the majority of what's there fronts Alexander Street.
What are you nearby?
Nearby as far as buildings,
Yeah, current buildings.
It would be like northeast of Lexington Christian Church.
Behind the post office.
yes, it's the northeast portion of the town.
Bear with me 2 seconds. I'll
Okay.
put a map up here for you.
Is this, I'm looking at the thing, Alexander Street is there.
Yes, sir.
Is this Walnut Street extended through like it shows here?
I believe it extends a part of the way. It doesn't go as far as it is platted.
Okay. And Salt Street does not exist there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Do you intend on putting the street there?
If we get as far as building houses back there, yes, we would. We assume that we would be required to provide some access to the homes that we build if it doesn't already exist.
So if you could just go through things one more time, kind of show us on the map.
Sure.
I think it'll load up here. Let's see.
JR's tech savvy.
So the area that we're talking about, I believe, is these 6 plus this one right here. So these 7 parcels. Alexander Street exists. These streets stop more or less where the graphic shows them, and these streets are unimproved at this time. So at some point in the future, we would assume that we would be making some access through there. But what we want to do is rezone these to fit the zoning that everything else should be or is residential.
Okay.
So you're planning on doubling these lots to what this little map here is showing? 'Cause
That's what's
sure-
originally platted in the town, yes, sir. We don't necessarily have concrete plans, what we're planning to do. It'll depend on what the folks that purchase the first couple of houses kind of indicate is expected for yard space and that sort of thing to be marketable. The original town plat does have 14 parcels instead of 7.
Are these larger areas, are they right of ways built within this, or? do you know?
I believe the original town plat has
Platted
those straight areas as streets.
Let's go ahead and fall back into the order of things.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Anyone wish to speak in opposition or have questions of this? If you would, identify yourself, please.
And sign in, please.
My name's Chris Ferris, and I live directly in front of the farm field that they're trying to put houses on. I live directly on the corner of Alexander Street, straight across from the old church. And I don't think that road has never existed. That stops at this lady's property. So that could never even be a road, that end one right there.
Can you go up to the thing? Sir?
This here,
That
you're good. It just is gonna control my computer if you touch it. You're good.
That road stops at their property. This is all their property. This is mine.
Which is the Stewart property?
Yes.
And then, okay, and then this one is yours, you said?
Right here.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay.
And they want to build how many ever houses? And they want to build how many ever houses behind me? I mean, personally, I don't think it's a great idea and I don't want it. I've talked to several other people in the community and they don't want, because that adds more traffic into a rural area that we don't want. I mean, there ain't much more for me to say, but I 100% oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes. Please identify yourself and sign in.
I'm Kathy Stewart, and I live on Hunt Street where the little lane stops between our house and theirs. Yeah, that's where I live. I'm concerned about traffic coming up that lane. I mean, all that property back to the creek is mine. So I'm going to have all these neighbors when it's all country. I mean, the kids play out there, four-wheelers. It's just not going to be safe having traffic running in and out of basically my driveway. I don't like it one bit. Plus the privacy issue. I mean, I'm building onto my house right now because I have a panoramic view of the tree line, and now it's going to be obstructed by construction. Not the ideal thing when you live in the country.
Where's the school?
I've been there since 2003.
Right.
And
Let's see.
I mean, it's always been country. There's no other neighborhoods like that anywhere around.
See the red line?
School would be a little further down. That right there is the school.
School, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that whole area is a school property.
What water, electric, and septic are you on?
We're on Kent Water,
Kent Water?
and Scott kind of rural,
So we have Duke.
yeah,
Regional sewer.
yeah.
The green
Yeah.
things.
The sewer system.
And that's another thing too. That's hard enough.
Just come back, if you would, just come back up here if you want. And, I mean, I don't mind if everybody else doesn't that you talk, but they won't hear you if you're not.
And that's another thing too. It's hard enough. It backs up a lot out there. And then you start adding on more houses onto the sewage system out there. I mean, that's, and then not to mention, where's all the runoff to the, gonna go for the water? There's a creek down there and that floods every time it rains hard. And I don't know if you're allowed to change a creek. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to change a creek. What are you gonna do with that? I mean, so.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Anyone wish to speak in favor of this?
My name is Joe Gibson, and I have lived in Lexington all my life, and we have looked for new housing forever. Matter of fact, I'm a member of the Regional Sewer District, and that's one of the reasons we put sewers in Lexington to help the growth. And like he mentioned, the plat, that town was platted. It was one of the very first towns platted in the entire state of Indiana. Of course, it grew for a while, and then when the county seats went to Scottsburg, it went down. Of course, that's the way it lost its importance. But I am for this project. I think this is a good one for the community, and it's in Scott County. We got a school. We have 2 or 3 churches close, plus a post office and stores. It'd be good for the community to have these newer houses. And some of you I know, some I don't, but that's the way I feel about it. Like I said, I have lived personally in town for over 50 years on Alexander Street, which is not too far from this site. Matter of fact, I used to farm that piece of property for Grant Bright, who owned that back years ago. And I'm quite aware of the area and what goes on around there. I have a son who owns ground to the north, and I own ground to the west, or south of that. But I am for the project. I think it'd be good for the community of Lexington and Scott County. And Gary, I'm going to leave you some history and some stuff on Lexington that I had worked on for years.
Joe, can I ask you a question? The regional sewer has capacity for this.
Yes, we do.
What's the feed
We
line
built
out
enough
there?
capacity to handle maybe 200 or 300 houses.
How
the
close
feed
is it
line?
to this project?
Huh?
How close is it?
Oh, the lines are right there. They're close. They'll have to run some lines to it. Yeah.
You know what size the lines are through there? Is it an
I'm not
8-inch
sure what
main
you're
or
talking
something?
to Jason Combs, our director of the runs the system for us
How long have you been on that board?
since 1988. That's the reason I got on there, because of all the issues at the park. We were coaching a little league down at the time, and the sewer and the towns ended up in the park area. And I got on the board, so I asked me to do it. It's something the state put together. It wasn't a bunch of good old boys get together and say, hey, let's have a sewer, let's start a sewer system. No, it was done by the state, and we did that. And we've expanded. I'm glad to see this project.
Are
One
you,
problem I see around Lexington is they're wanting to put too many single wide trailers in there. There should be more housing.
are you familiar with any backup problems in that area?
Not I'm aware of, no. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Gibson, given your familiarity with that part of the town and its close proximity to that creek, are
Is the
you
creek that
aware?
close? Yes,
Are you
there is.
aware of it? Does the floodplain touch like?
Well, I don't know if that area right there goes into the water, but it has flooded there a time or two in the past, not in that spot there. I farmed it for 4 or 5 years for Grant. I never had a bit of trouble with water or anything. Now, the flood in 92, it might have got up there, but it got up in a lot of places it never gets, I have the backup patch, not just right down the road from it, and it got into that. And that's the only time it's ever done it in 50-some years.
So there is history of water getting out of the channel banks, but we're not sure where that fringe is necessarily. Like you're not aware of it actually.
I don't think it goes up in that field that far. It's according to how far up north they, if they stay up the hill a little bit, they'll be just fine. Anything else?
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Gibson, excuse me. Well, hereby close the public portion. It's our time to ask questions. Feel free to pitch in, but I've got a few. If you could, sir, come back to the microphone. If you would, if you can, as much as you know. Talk to us about the streets, what you're planning on putting in, the width, the type of street. Is it a county type of street, a city street? And what type of abatement mitigation do you have planned for any kind of water? Retention ponds? I know that's kind of out of your hands because that kind of falls to the state. Now, they'll have to get approval from the state for all this, is that correct?
For the drainage.
Drainage, you would.
Well, he'll have to get an approval from an engineering company, and then it will go in front of the drainage board after an application is filled out.
And then each individual property will have to have.
He can put it all in one application as the owner.
Okay.
So I've jotted down a couple. I may miss something and you guys can put me back on task if that's the case.
Let me pause you 1 second.
Oh, sure.
Gary, while I got this up, this is the floodplain layer for Scott County. Zoomed in some to that area, but it shows on our GIS system as far as floodplains are recorded, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but it stops closest would be recorded around Getty Road area in 203. So that area is not documented as a layer in our GIS system as being in a floodplain. Does that sound about right, Mark? For
Yes.
What you see. So I didn't want to cut you off. I just want to get that so I
Can
can.
you point to that on that with your little pointer thing there, where the floodplain's at and where these lots
So
are?
this is the floodplain. This would be inside of Lexington. So
Okay.
you're continuing out 203 to kind of where that
Okay.
big bridge is just past Getty Road. It would be the nearest that would touch it.
It's 1.5 miles.
It's a good run. I know that.
If you could, go
I know
ahead.
it's 1.5. It lives right there.
Yeah.
That was perfect because that was one of the things I wanted to mention was that we did do some diligence on how close the nearest floodplain was, and it was quite a distance. So that covers that. As far as streets, we plan to have that conversation with you guys. I'm not solely responsible for that, so I can't really talk too deeply about it, but we expect that there will be some requirements to access the rear. We're not sure what those requirements will be. We've never worked with you guys before, or with any of the other jurisdictions that might have that jurisdiction over that. What we would typically do in a more rural setting is we do a lot of gravel impervious structures, well built but not designed to channel a lot of water, because again, if you put in an impervious road that's asphalt or something like that, you do deal with more runoff. So we would ask first for that, but if we needed to do something different, we would be open to it. We would build whatever it took to access what we're building. So we wouldn't be looking to construct all of the streets that are not currently existing if they weren't necessary to access the properties. So if we end up building, say, 7 homes on the existing 7 properties, we wouldn't be looking to, pave all those alleys in between and that sort of thing. We'd feel that was unnecessary. But whatever it took to provide reasonable access to the folks for however many homes that were built, we would certainly do. As far as the water, again, it depends a little bit on how much ends up being built in the end. The denser you make it, the more you have to account for that sort of thing. If you have a lot of green and open space, again, we're going to go, sounds before a drainage board and discuss those plans in detail and provide for any sort of drainage. We would have to abide by those calculations, whatever they are. But I would anticipate there shouldn't be a whole lot necessary to maintain the water flow and water levels on a project this small.
Any additional questions from anyone? Yes, go ahead.
What size homes are you wanting to build?
Our typical home ranges between 1,100 and 1,500 square feet. Typically starter homes, 3 and 4 bedroom homes.
And the starting price?
We typically start between 200 and 220.
Like slab homes or basements or what do you?
Typically on slab, I believe we do have a little bit of grade here, so they could see a basement depending on grade, but those are our 2 defaults. It's slab on grade or basement.
So you build homes, but if
Correct.
someone wants to buy a piece of property, use another construction firm, is that acceptable?
It's something that we would consider. Our plan is to build them ourselves. That's what we do. And we're not really in the market of selling stuff to other folks. But if somebody wanted to do it and they wanted to do it in an agreeable way, we would be open to that.
That's kind of what I wanted to hear. Thank you. Is there any additional questions at all? We have a firm in front of us who has requested a rezoning change from an agricultural change to an R1 single family residence. Joe, I'm going to kind of throw this out there, kind of within the confines of the city of Lexington. To kind of complete, finish, resume what might have been thought of several years ago. I'll take a motion. Our choices are to approve the zoning change. A yes vote would be for the change. A no vote would be against it. Majority has to rule. I'll take a motion to reject this. Again, the majority has to rule. And I'll take a motion to forward it to the commissioners of the neutral recommendation.
I believe this actually would just be a favorable or unfavorable to the commissioners.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so this board does not change the zoning. This is just a recommendation of favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation to the commissioners.
Yes.
Yes, so
One
we're
more
gonna make
question.
sure we get that clear that's, yeah.
And we start out with, okay. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass it with a favorable recommendation.
I'd second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. This is just on the motion to do that. This is not actual voting. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Let's roll call the vote. We have in front of us a motion to approve this piece of property from rezoning from agricultural to an R1. I'm just going to start off. We'll just kind of go down through that. So our vote is recorded as an individual. My answer is yes.
My answer is yes.
My answer is yes.
I'm going to vote yes too, and I'd like to clarify why. I contacted Kent Water because we've been told before that there was access there, but we heard tonight that the sewer is available and they have capacity. Kent Water's already been contacted. I sit on that board as well, but they've been contacted about an extension and they said there was plenty of capacity. And given that it's part of the original plat of Lexington, that it was designed to be residential, I can't vote against it. And then lastly, I've known that area for 40 plus years and it did flood in 92. I farmed that ground for over 10 years myself and it never flooded in that time. I'm not gonna say it couldn't flood tomorrow, but as that's concerned in my 40 plus years, it's only flooded once in 1992 with the big flood. So that's the reason why I'm voting for it.
My vote is yes.
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Everyone voted?
Yes.
Then it was a unanimous yes approved vote. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
For a
Yes.
favorable recommendation, yes.
Okay, the outcome of this is a favorable recommendation to rezone this property from agriculture to R1 will go to the county commissioners. When is their next election? Or like
Their next meeting
Next meeting.
meeting?
will be, should be Wednesday, the 18th.
Okay.
They wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
get it
Advertised.
noticed by then.
Between Stacy and I, we will have to prepare some, the notice of the decision to the commissioners. We'll forward to that. They have 90 days to set that for a hearing as they wish. I don't know if you want us to include in that. I mean, I know that Matt obviously provided his reasons of why, if anybody wants to add in as to why you are voting yes, so we can give that to the commissioners rather than they may be wondering why we voted that way, but.
I'll add mine. I'm with Matt. That was the original intent for this property, many, many years ago. It's a way to use existing sewer capacity that needs to be utilized rather than elsewhere in the county where it would have to be much more intrusive, in my opinion.
I would mirror that as well. The original plans for this property, with it being platted as it is, stand that it has always been to serve for additional homes in that area. And that's my reason for yes.
My thoughts was,
I'm kind of go off what Joe said about stick-built homes instead of single-wide trailers. Better homes, better retail or resale value, bring the property values up in Lexington.
I just think it's a good project for Lexington. You've been years trying to bring stuff out there, and that's a good opportunity right there. I'm glad to see people stepping up and making the investment.
anything additional? What should I give direction to contact your office by when to find out if,
The next meeting would be April 1st after the 18th. That'd be the next commissioner meeting.
We should be able to get it on the April 1st commissioners meeting. So that will be our goal.
Does it have to have more than one reading before they do it, or can they do it that night?
If it's unanimous.
I think they do. I think they have, pardon?
If it's unanimous, it's one, I think. If it's not, then it has to go two. I think it is how it works. I could be wrong on that. I think if it's a unanimous vote, they get one run, or they can do both in one night. If it's not, then I think they have to do two separate, but I'm not 100% on their rules.
It will be published in Crothersville Times on when it will be in front of the
Yes.
commissioners. And then it will be posted on our website.
any other new business? Thank you, sir. We do have some old business.
The fee schedule
Yes.
that was proposed at the last meeting, we can now, if it's approved, we can now send that also to the commissioners for their vote.
Where this road ends. Where this road ends, right here. Got a nice picture.
Are we ready to vote on the fee schedule?
Got a building right there. Where she built- where she built that one.
The proposed fee
Let me
schedule.
come back alive.
Okay. Did
It's not-
you get that printed?
Yeah, I thought,
There's-
did you print that up?
It's right there.
Yeah.
I printed 10 of them. I don't know that you need that many,
Oh,
but
I was wondering what it was.
That's what I
Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe that's
Are these all our current? Oh, wait a minute.
Except,
Oh, we need a current and then proposed.
Yeah.
we got current, proposed, and then there was
That's a city street.
the city paper.
How long
I think it's
ago did
4
y'all
streets
buy that
total.
property?
Okay, that's current, and then that's, does anybody else?
And here's the ones from surrounding counties.
Oh,
We've been looking in that area for a while, but we haven't.
Do you want one?
where do y'all typically build that now?
Sorry.
Where are y'all out at?
Charlestown. So we built in the last 4 years.
You want to
about
pass
50
those
homes
down?
in Charlestown and, Canton and some in Hanover and, started to do some in Jefferson. So we want to move in that direction as well. If we can do that.
January 9th. John.
Joe, you were
January
gone, but it
9th.
looks like it might be
Bought it.
April before it gets to the commissioners.
Are you all, you're not ABC Land, right? That's a different
I
entity.
actually do own that. So that was the acquisition.
So the acquisition was January 5th of 26, and then it was sold to KGF Building LLC on the 9th. So you guys had it roughly all of this year. No fair. And it was purchased from the Miles family, which purchased it in 2002. From then it was 93, and then 1900 was the other one.
Are we ready to vote on this? Or we want to postpone it to the next meeting?
On the ski fee,
Yeah.
I'm ready to, on the fee schedule.
Oh, I'm ready to vote on it.
I'm ready to make it.
John, do we have changes we talked about, or we need to make, or does it stay the same?
I had a couple questions, but they cleared them up. I mean, they cleared them up for me
For
that
you?
night.
Okay,
I was reading it wrong.
okay. I remember we talked about something.
Yeah, one at a time for me.
Stacy, from your perspective or Ben's, there were no other updates or anything over the last month or
No,
anything you guys?
we kind of have been, checking that out because since I'm new, I've gotten a lot of new things that I hadn't done as an interim director. We got a fencing, permit, and I've gotten several billboard permit, questions. So I think that's coming. So we definitely will need to make sure we have the permit fees to cover that. And I believe that it is on the proposed one. I don't have one in front of me, but
I made enough. You should have. You should
I
have.
think I passed them all down.
Oh, we should have an extra. You want one?
Do you want on the
Do we have one more down there?
proposed one?
You can go into the-
Which
Hold on just a minute, I can
Let's
look
send
at
that to
hers.
Stacy's. One small proposal that I would like to throw out, if somebody would yes or no, it ain't gonna hurt my feelings, but on the building commission side, the 6,000 square foot and up says up to 7 inspections. I think we ought to consider making that to be determined by inspector, because if you're building a 10,000 square foot home, he should be able to say
Well,
it
and I
needs to
do
be more or
believe,
less.
I don't know how it was put on here, but I was thinking that extra inspections were,
I think there needs to be a line in there somewhere. If extra inspections are warranted, put a price on it. And
yeah,
Ben
I
says-
thought that we did that.
If Ben says, I gotta come out here 3 more times because of something or the way they're building something, I think he needs to have a vehicle to do that.
Here somewhere, I thought, but I could be wrong.
I did too. I thought it was on here, but I don't see it, so. Because we did talk about that.
Have a pass inspection, something like that.
I see the failed inspection for a $50 re-inspection fee, but
Oh, so he's not gonna.
I just think if you're building a super sized home, it's gonna be very in-depth, and many times
Well,
you
we
may
have
have
a
to go
project right now
more
that
times.
we're working on that it's huge.
But that's really I mean, I'm fine with the fees. I think that would be.
How do you want it worded? Just extra fee inspection or extra inspection fees?
Yeah, I think there just needs to be a line in there, additional inspections. Because the builders could, the way they're building something, he may not be able to see everything he needs to see
At one time.
at one time, like he's planning here. He may have to have a couple extra trips out there. Not at any fault to him, it's at how the builders are doing things.
Well, no.
And that's not to say that the builder is trying to do other hand. He might be
Right.
subcontracting electrical, plumbing, and that might not be available all at the same time.
Correct.
And do you want to set a fee per trip?
Yeah, you're basing it on,
If you fail and go back, it's $50. Are additionals the same or?
I think he
are
was
they-
thinking $20 of inspection unless it failed or the person calls him and isn't there to inspect when they say
Yeah,
they're supposed
7
to.
inspections is a lot of inspections.
Unless you're doing a custom home with a lot of custom work,
I've done 12,000 square feet on 5 inspections.
there's a whole lot of electronics and technology going in
Right.
houses now that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say any additional trips ought to be $50. I'll throw it out there.
I think that would be fair.
The same as a failed inspection.
Yeah, Andrew's got a good idea, I think. Just put an asterisk on anything. I mean, my vote would be either any of them or above 3,000 at least that says building inspector reserves the right to require additional inspections as needed. Additional inspections shall have a $50 fee.
I'm totally in agreement with that.
You want them on all? Or do you want to
Or
limit
should
them?
I just put it,
Yeah, I think it should be on all, and then Ben can.
Well, he's already got,
Right.
fees on there for
'Cause you can do-
if he has to,
Small.
if you fail an inspection, he's got to come
If
back.
not, you got problems.
Let me get that in my brain.
Yeah.
So if I go out and make an inspection, and it looks to me like I gotta come back several more times. I guess my question comes at, when do we notify the builder of the need for multiple inspections? At the time they file it, or at sometime
I don't
during it?
think that we will know at the time that they file it. But if he goes out there and says, it's a huge project and he can already tell, like at, I don't know, the second inspection, this is gonna need more than 7. So if you can get A, B, and C done at the same time and can get it within this 7, we're okay. But I just want you to know, I have the say if after number 7, if we still need inspections,
8, 9,
it's
yeah.
my, I can do that, or however you want to say it.
And I think, I know a lot of home builders, and 7, if you can't get the average home built today done in 7 inspections, we got a major problem.
Yeah.
But if it is a rare occurrence, and as a home builder, I'm gonna make sure I get it within the 7, but I think that reserves the right for rare occasions that it comes up that we have the ability not to run Ben ragged back and forth to a property.
I agree with that. I want it to happen soon enough in the process
Yeah, no, I agree.
to where it doesn't appear retaliatory,
Yes.
but it might end up having to be not retaliatory to me to get back at you, but your organizational skills and getting your inspections scheduled is not good. So I kind of think I like that.
Does that sound fair from your standpoint, Carla, putting just the kind of disclaimer on there saying we reserve the right to charge if we have to do more than that amount?
Yeah. And then that way you wouldn't be putting it, we can just asterisk it and put a disclaimer at the bottom.
That's what I think.
Yes.
I think it's fair.
Okay, I'm focusing on the building permit fee schedule. I need some type of motion. We have it in front of us in writing. What's our additions to that?
The addition would be making an asterisk on new builds next to the 7 inspections of each one. And at the bottom, putting a disclaimer or note that says building inspector reserves the right to require additional inspections as needed. Additional inspections will have a $50 fee per inspection.
Okay.
And with that change, I would make a motion to accept the proposed current fee schedule with that change added.
I will second that with the change added.
But I have a motion.
I think it's awful arbitrary.
What do you mean?
It's like man art needs to know how many inspections he's gonna be paying for when he starts.
So do I add the disclaimer and then send that to the board to review before I put it in front of the commissioners?
John, stand by 1 second, Stacy. Matt's got a valid point. Why don't we just have that disclaimer on all of it as a blanket?
That's what I thought we were doing.
That's the way I understood your motion.
The whole, so I think, let me just clarify, the motion I'm making for you, Gary, is we will have at the bottom said disclaimer across the full fee schedule as
On the building
needed.
commissioner side.
Yes. And with that change,
It's even worse.
I would have a motion to approve that fee schedule with that change going to the commissioners.
Okay.
That make more sense?
I have a motion. Do I have a second for that?
I second.
I have a second.
And was that Andrew?
Before we vote, any additional comments, concerns about what we're voting for? If I am a home builder, I'm going to pay extra for an inspection beyond 7, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, let me back that up. There's a few things that don't
There's a few-
require 7.
Yeah, beyond the
Beyond the published
specified
amount.
amount. Yeah, the published amount would be more accurate.
There's
I'd
other
be
things.
way happier with that. I don't feel that's nice.
So just to clarify, Gary, your question, I think we're on the same page, but I'll reiterate. The change would be the listed number of inspections. We, the county or the county building commissioner, reserves the right to increase the amount of inspections as needed. If it's a specialty project, then assess a fee for those. If it exceeds the amount prescribed in the form.
Listed
The
on the
only-
fee schedule.
Yes.
I'm good with that. I do have a touch of heartburn. Let's say I'm building a large house. And, well, I know how many inspections I'll have to have.
Yeah, it's on the,
It
You'll
says how many you get with.
you'll have up to 7, which
But we're saying there might be more.
if there's more, then they pay the extra fee.
so I think if you're putting in, a full theater, a basketball court that's elevated with concrete structure, something crazy outside the realm of a home, then yeah, it's going to require more inspections for reinforced, elevated, suspended concrete. You're a builder, wouldn't you agree? You're going to expect
Well,
an additional
okay, I will
inspection
give
for
this
something like that.
example. We have a 10,000 square foot home being built right now with a enclosed basketball court. And it hasn't exceeded the 7 yet.
Right.
My other part of that is I've got the money. I wanted to build a home. Should the inspector say, hey, just so you know, this is going to be 10 inspections instead of 7.
I don't know that he can say that early on because they could have all their ducks in a row where he can see wiring, heating and air, whatever. He can see if they have all their stuff ready, he should be able to do it. He set these numbers as to what he thought it should take. And I think he set them pretty generous.
Yeah.
And when I hand out a packet, I'll have them review the disclaimer.
All right.
And I think that should be posted in a legal notice once the commissioners if the commissioners approve it, saying it will begin like July 1st,
Okay.
give them time.
We have a motion and a second in front of us to revise the fee schedule as prepared with the caveat that it has been included that there might be some additionals. We've had a motion and we have a second. I'd like to do a roll call vote. Yes means that you pass it. No means that you do not. I'll go first. Yes.
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 Okay, so that one is passed. That will go on to the commissioners as a recommendation. The other one was review the split rule, easements, and solar farm zoning. Those are all different. Those are not all the same. What's the proposed split rule?
Are we asking?
Is there a proposed split rule?
Excuse me?
Is there a proposed split rule? on
I
the
only
table?
brought a recommendation to last meeting.
Okay,
I think we need to talk about it amongst the group.
and what was that again? I can't.
Okay, the current split rule is you can only split a parent piece of property 4 splits, and that's lasts forever.
In a
So
lifetime.
50 years from now, if you've already split a 500-acre farm 4 times, it could never be split again. I don't think that was the intent of the rule at the time, but now we're stuck with it, and I think it needs to be changed. My proposal, it was put in initially to stop some development companies from coming into the county and splitting farms up where they didn't have to come talk to anybody. There was no rule in place, so they would split them however they want, not put proper roads in, not put proper easements, and it turned into be quite a problem within the county. We have some, at the same time they passed the no split rule, they also put in some rules about roads and easements that also said if they're going to split the property, they had to bring the quality of the roads up to a county minimum, which we did not have that at the time. I think that has cured a lot of the problem in itself right there. I just put that as a proposal that a property could be split 4 times. At 5 years, it would be eligible to be split again. That's just to keep family farms where a landowner owns 250 acres. He's got 4 children. He wants to give them all. He wants to retain 50 himself, give all of his children 50 acres. If he did the 4 splits, that's it. They could never split that 50 acres again without to give their children 5 or 10 acres off of that property. They would have to come to this board and ask for a minor subdivision is the only way that we could do that in order for them to give some of that property to their children or to sell it, whatever their case would be. I think it would, and it's already starting, but another 20, we've been saddled with this about 20 years now, and it's starting to come. I think you're limiting the property values of people's farms in the future, another 20 or 30 years from now. a property which would be identical to one that's already been split, 20 acres here, 20 acres here, a property that hasn't been split will be worth far more money than the property that has been split. And I don't think that was the intent of the rule. I think it was the intent to stop a problem that's happening, but I think we created another problem when we did that. And I think we need to try to rectify that in the best way we can. I put a proposal out that a property could only be split 4 times, and that 5 years it would be eligible to be split again without having to come to a board and ask.
And is that 4 times again in the 5 years, or is it like?
Yeah, it's eligible again for the 4 splits.
Okay.
Other board members have said 5 years is too long. I've heard people float 2 and 3. I just pulled one out of the air. I'd like to let the group come to a consensus of what they think is right. And I appreciate any input right now. I don't think any developer with a 3-year limit is too keen on buying a piece of property, splitting it, waiting 3 years, splitting it again. I don't think that would be in a developer's interest, but whatever you all feel comfortable with, let's have some discussion. Somebody throw something out.
I think if we're at forever right now, 5 years
We're at forever.
is a good
Forever.
start.
I like 2 real well. That would stop people from just wanting to come in and just bust it all to pieces, you know.
Without coming and asking for a minor
Yeah.
subdivision.
Yes. I think 5 years is even a little too long. Man buys a piece of ground, he needs to be able to do what he wants to do with it within reason. And, you know, like me, I've got 5 kids, I've got 9 grandkids. If I go out here and buy a 100-acre farm up, my grandkids are gonna be grown and gone before I can give them a piece of ground to build a house on. I don't think that's right. That's kind of my thinking on it.
We've got 5, we've got 2 out there.
I've asked a lot of questions around this just to try to understand it. And it's been explained to me that it's a parent tract.
It's any tract that wasn't divided before the rule come in, or at whatever they put this in, 2001, 2002. That's when the deadline started. So after that, it could only be split 4 times. It didn't matter what was done before that, is the way it was explained to me.
So honestly, Matt, I guess if a parent parcel was split before 2002, that first split or second split, it can only have 2 more splits off the parent. So if there was 2 splits on the parent parcel before the ordinance became in effect, there can only be 2 more splits. It couldn't be split 4 more times.
So in that context of where we are now and where we're proposing.
And I don't think those were getting caught at the courthouse. I think there was properties that were split that people did not, that wasn't caught at the time. I don't know if they even knew they should be looking for that. But now as this goes on, you know, you get another 30 years down the road, I don't think they're gonna catch it. And then you're gonna have some people that are getting denied and other people that are getting it. Then we're gonna get sued. I don't. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Matt, go ahead.
So we're saying a parcel could be 500 acres or it could be 5.
Correct.
We're trying to treat those all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make sense to me. I've said before, there's value in simplicity. And if we went through the exercise 6 months ago to develop the context of what would be acceptable to split it down to, why do we need a limit on the splits? If somebody, so long as it meets the definitions of a split, if someone buys a property on an open market transaction, shouldn't they be able to do what they want with it?
Right.
At some point, then you're gonna
You
be
just
in a
explained that way
subdivision.
better than
So
I
we
did.
have to
I
have
can't
some,
hear them. Do what, Stacy?
we have, at some point, we're gonna be in a subdivision. So we have to have a subdivision.
Not, we've already set the standard of what, let's say somebody has a 200-acre parcel and they want to split it 10 times, potentially just even, that's 20-acre parcels.
Well, though, our rule now on an ag piece, if you have 200 acres, you can have 200 lots. If they all have road frontage.
But that theoretically, they would never have road front, you know what I mean, without doing some type of major
Road.
subdivision, because you wouldn't have enough road frontage.
But I think that's where this comes in effect. We have to have it up to a point, and at that point, then it becomes a subdivision.
If it doesn't have, but so long as they can meet the minimum road frontage, setbacks, all of that, why don't we let the topography and the property speak for itself rather than interject all this confusion about, like, for instance, if someone buys a property, they're going to do an appraisal, a title search, all their diligence. No one goes back and checks and sees how many previous splits there
Yeah,
were.
they do, because it's on the map. Like, if your parent parcel it has 18.
Let me rephrase it. That is not a lender's requirement or a title search requirement to research prior splits. And we could limit somebody's ability to do what they want. And I'm just if it's 5 acres, I agree, it shouldn't be able to split 10 times. But there are tracts out there that are multiple hundreds of acres. And I'm just trying, I'm asking. I'm not necessarily proposing, because I personally want to see farm ground preserved. But if we have a large landowner that, for instance, for simplicity, have combined their deeds or combined their tax parcels and things, they theoretically have significantly limited the value of the real estate unintentionally. So if we have our policies, road frontage, setbacks correct, why do we need to track the splits? I'm trying to make your job easier, quite honestly.
Well, mine is easy.
And there's a lot of counties
when
that don't track them.
And again, I'm not proposing that, I'm just asking the question.
I think I
Right.
understand what you're saying, because there's no way that anybody can build on an interior of a lot because they won't have road frontage.
Exactly.
The only way they could build on that interior is to get
A variance,
or
a
a
subdivision,
subdivision or
an
something like
easement,
that, and you're
some
just
other
yeah,
type of.
which that's what makes sense to me, because you can't, no one, that's not going to happen.
No,
Now they
wait a
can't.
minute. Wait a minute. Mark, jump in here. You can put a easement back and build two houses off of that easement. You can go back through a property with an easement, and you're allowed 2 off of one easement. So that can be done.
It could
Yeah,
be
but is
done,
that a
but you're
road?
not
I mean,
gonna
that's
put
a
two
driveway
houses
to
on
me.
100
That's
acres.
not a road.
No, they'll do
What
that.
I'm trying to
If you
do,
put
Yeah.
a road, if this
Keep a
is
little bit of
200
handle
acres
on
and
it.
you put a road right through it, you can.
But that was,
Yeah,
I
this
guess
is
that's what
back
happened
to
there
the
before, is that they're saying that,
Indian land days.
I would say it has to be a
With
county
the
road,
way it
something
is
that has
now,
been.
the
Maybe I
splits
didn't
limited.
change it,
It
but it's
doesn't
county
have to
road.
have.
But they
then
could
we're gonna
go
have
and
to
buy, like that
redo
farm out in Lexington where they
subdivision.
had the thing over.
Requirements.
They could have went in there and drew that up and poked
Well, I
roads
mean,
down.
no, not, that wouldn't be, the subdivision
Easements,
would be separate.
every
But
other
that's
lot,
what
boom,
Randy, that's what
boom,
split
boom,
the
and built. House
That
up
they were buying
front,
it, splitting
easement
up into
back,
lots and then
house,
putting the road,
house.
and then everybody
House
goes,
up
well, who
front,
takes care of the
easement
road?
back,
Because
house,
the county
house.
didn't know anything about it.
And that's
county road.
what we don't
That's
quite
their
want to
problem.
happen.
So we need to
Current
fix
easement
that
law
though, to see how we
would
can do
allow
that.
that.
Well,
Hey, Matt, can I show you?
Because either way,
Present
that
something
still
here.
happened, it may take them time, but
If
if
we had
that's
a,
still going to be the case, they would
flat road,
just say, okay,
we've got
well,
a
in
big
2 years or
200
5
acre
years,
field
we'll
here.
split it again, I'm gonna make a
If
little
we
road
start
here. and that's not
sectioning
gonna
off
stop
1
it.
acres at a time, they do 4 this year,
mhm.
over the
Well,
course of 3 to 9
Though
months.
after a certain amount.
Next
of
year,
splits,
if
you
we don't have a
to go
cap,
into
they can do
major
another
Or
4.
minor subdivision.
Then the next year, they can do another 4. The next thing you know, that's a minor subdivision,
But
essentially.
not if, I guess I'm saying.
And we lose control over,
Not,
Right.
You know, as a board, I think that we want to maintain
And they say,
control.
we're just gonna create.
How would
road
that be a
frontage,
minor
and
subdivision
we
if they
don't
weren't
have anything
adding
that-
any
I don't think
roads?
they would need to come here to do a subdivision.
Well,
It would just,
You
I
get what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
it,
Like, we don't want to burn.
it
up
would,
all
it would just slow
road
down,
without-
because they could say, okay, we're gonna wait our 2 years. Wait our 2 years.
Like I said,
We're gonna make another one,
plat
so I'm gonna make a
or,
road.
So we're not gonna have.
So from the standpoint of trying to
Development.
save farm ground, if that's 200 acres that get sold to development,
Less than an acre
if you could put
right now.
20
They're
houses on that, or you can put 10, what's better to preserve farm ground?
20.
Whatever road frontage.
Because that's gone. That's not gonna be farmed anymore.
So this isn't gonna stop that.
But we would like them to come in and ask for a minor subdivision.
Well, then we need to structure our lot size appropriately.
Yeah.
You might
And
run
what's
into
it- what's
that.
it-
Because like if you're gonna determine splits, we need to treat, we're proposing, what you propose, we treat a 10-acre split the same as a 10,000 acre split.
Yes.
And that's where I'm struggling.
Do you know what that ordinance is?
I'm the same way.
Say,
It's just,
then
I'm trying to get rid of the
Do
first
you know
one
what the original ordinance
with
is?
a,
or
something
number
that
of
appeases
it?
to everybody that doesn't make it the Wild West, where people can come
Section
in and do
7 of
anything they
the
want and not
subdivision
ask.
ordinance, I believe.
That's what we had 20 years ago.
But that was different because they were putting in 2 and 3 mile lanes that were
Yes,
goat paths.
and we don't want that ever again.
What, they can't do that now.
It seems like it's set.
It would be at most 2 houses,
of course, this is.
At a
for
minimum
2011. I don't
of
have updated.
400 feet on the lane instead of 2
I
miles
do,
back.
but it's
to
not
the
a very
path.
good order. I
They
have
could
like
do- they
the
could
amendments
do-
to it,
An easement,
but
I
a
have
lot, an
you say that
easement,
was like
go back
2001
and
or
split
2
two
or
off of
3.
that
2
easement.
or 3?
But if they're trying to
That's
maximize it, that lane's gonna be 400 feet, 100 by 400 or 100 by 430 feet to get their acre. So we're not gonna be building potentially mile lanes. You're gonna be building 400 or 500 foot lanes that would
Oh,
be
yeah, for
even.
changing the zoning ordinance.
Actually, they would only have to be
Splits.
200
Well,
foot.
That's what I'm
No,
saying,
no.
I'm kind of confused.
Have to
of
be
what-
435.
If it's just
435
set
to get
into
the-
a
If it's a
subdivision
minimum of
ordinance,
100
Then it only has to do with subdivision.
If,
Because I'm like trying to get my head around how this
436.
affects.
Round.
If we're worried about nefarious
Any
actors
other zone.
Yeah, if we're just talking about.
coming in and
If it's a
purchasing
subdivision, To
I'm,
me, it doesn't have any bearing.
property and then
Subdivision ordinance, it goes by zoning.
dividing it. Would a 5 years stop that?
I think I'll just slow it down.
Slow it.
I think it would from a developer standpoint. We have someone in the crowd that
I mean,
wants to weigh in.
technically,
Don't
just
know
slow
if
it
that
down.
gallery comment is appropriate. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the way Clark County handles this. I personally like the way they do it. I think it's kind of a smart compromise on some of the things you guys have thrown out. They allow a theoretically infinite number of splits above 5 acres. Below 5 acres, they only allow 1 split per year. So that they allow, if you want to do that big parcel and divide it amongst kids in its large pieces, such that most developers aren't interested in parcels of that size, you can do that. But if you want to do those little small pieces, like you was talking about, 1 acre or acre and a half or something, to really try to do a subdivision without getting a subdivision, that one per year rule kind of keeps that from happening.
My only ask is, and where my mind's at, we're treating 100 acres and 5 acres the same. And that, I just can't make sense of that in my head.
What do you propose?
I don't know that I have a proposal. I'm just asking the people smarter than me. But what he's saying kind of sums that up somewhat because of split it down. If we want to be conservative, split it down to 10 acres or 20 acres. But if somebody has for instance, a 400 acre deed, who are we to say that they can only split it X number of time every X years if they wanted to cut it into 400 acre parcels? That seems like, I'm assuming that would seem reasonable to most of us, that they should be able to do that without having to wait.
Okay, I guess my question on that would be then, we wouldn't have a subdivision ordinance unless they want to go under the 1 acre, 100 foot of road frontage. Is that what we would be saying?
I don't know that it would ever be a subdivision unless it was something beyond what our predetermined lot sizes are.
I'm gonna ask Carla a question. Like in Matt's case, someone had a large parcel, 500 acres, and they want to split it down to whatever, more than the 4 splits. Can they come to the BZA and say, I have a unique thing, I have a large piece of property, I've got 6 kids, I want to divide it equally amongst them? Is that where they come to the BZA and ask for additional splits and we can grant that?
I would say that they could do that. I have it more in my mind because I know it happens a lot. They have this farmland, but then all around the frontage, people want to sell lots because they just want to make some money or whatever. And I mean, I guess they could come and ask. I think is that kind of what you're getting at? That's what I always envision in my head. There's everywhere in Jefferson County. Of course,
He's saying that someone has 6 kids or grandkids or whatever, they want to divide the farm up amongst them. The 4 splits may not be enough for a large parcel, or if they're wanting to do it amongst their grandkids and kids or whoever, or they just want to sell it. It's their property. The 4 split rule would limit that. Could they come to the BZA and say, I want additional splits, and we grant that if that made sense? Is that? I guess there is one option for them to do that,
would be a
rather than ask
variance,
for
yeah.
subdivision.
If that's the case, I would personally want some proof. You got 5 kids, 6 kids? Show me.
I don't know that we can
Well,
stand on solid ground and say,
Well, you know what I'm saying.
or if he says, no, I want to sell it. I want the money, I want to sell it.
Right. Well, let's say
Can
it
we
might be a
limit it?
developer that comes to someone and says, I would like to buy this strip of property and build houses and sell. Will you sell it to me? And that's, since that 500 acres and, as long as it's got the road frontage. I mean, I could see that kind of scenario where then they would say, well, then obviously need to get more splits. Not because it's family, it's just because a guy wants to buy my property and I'm willing to sell it.
My intent with the whole thing was, we've got to get away from the forever.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to leave it intact to where a person wouldn't circumvent the rules like we had 20 years ago and come in and do things that we didn't want done here without some board approval. The pendulum swung too far.
Right, yeah.
They had free reign before. We choked it down to where now we're living with a problem. It needs to get back somewhere in the middle. And I think that's kind of where we decide.
I think we're
here to decide.
I think where I was getting a little bit confused, and maybe I'm kind of with Matt. I was thinking, I don't understand. Road frontage is road frontage, but Stacy is saying then someone can make a road,
yes,
period, and that's considered road frontage, even though it has nothing to do
county
with anything.
specs.
I guess I'm saying, I guess it needs to be, maybe it needs to be reined in on that it needs to be a road that county has approved or
Okay,
something
so
to say, you
would
can't
they
just throw
do-
down some gravel and say, I got a road now. So
Would they
now
get a
That's what they
building
used to
permit
do.
for
That is not-
also?
We've got an ordinance that stops that.
Okay, well then I think then what Matt's saying, then that takes care of it, because if you can't make your own road,
Would they get
you can't split
building-
back in the interior of it because you can't make your,
But then Matt's talking about cutting a 500 acre farm up, whether it wants to be houses built on it or not. That it may, I think, don't let me talk for you, Matt. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
If someone has 500 acres and they want to sell off part of it and parcels, they want to give it to grandchildren, they want to do whatever, but they want more than 4 splits at one, in that whatever period of time we say. That he says we're kind of unfairly treating a large parcel the same as we're treating a smaller parcel. Is that what I'm getting? Am I saying that right?
Well, if you had a 500-acre parcel and you wanted to do that, would we start making the public get a building permit for a road?
Why would they necessarily even need a road?
They may not
That
want a
is,
road.
that's where it kick into subdivision. If you're trying to build a new road and get other houses back there, I think that's we'd have to get.
I'm not even talking about building houses in my mind, but if somebody has a lot, and I use 500, I don't even know how many 500 acre, let's use an 80. There's probably a lot of 80-acre parcels. If someone wants to bust that up for their own family, Johnny wants to give it to his grandkids in 12-acre lots. Does anybody in here have a problem with a 12-acre lot if it has sufficient road frontage, X, Y, all of our other standards? Why do they have to wait potentially 6 years, 8 years, whatever, to get 8 different lots? And again, I'm not insinuating, I'm just asking the question.
Does it need to be put in a legal notice?
See, I'm way happier.
Oh, yeah, this was just, I think, I'm just going to get.
Well, let me throw something to you, Matt.
And then.
Let's just say that we go with a moratorium of 2 years on 4 splits. If anybody wants any more than that, they come to the zoning BZA and say, hey, I need 6 because I got X number of grandkids. I got this, I got that. Yeah, go ahead. That would require them to wait maybe 2 years. I'll do you all now. I'll do you all in 2 years. No, Granddad, we want you all to do this now. He comes to us and does it.
Yeah, you could run into estate planning issues by the time.
Absolutely.
By the time. I'm absolutely fine with 2 years because it's so much better than what we have now. But I don't think we can limit people if it's their ground and I want my property split in 6 parcels, but I want to do it now and it's none of your business what I'm doing with it, who I'm selling it to or who I'm giving it to. I don't think we can limit it to grandchildren or family members. It's really none of our business what they want to do with that. Or we can't limit it and say, no, you're not giving it to your grandkid.
Oh, I agree with that. That's just an example.
I think 2 years is so much better than what we're dealing with. And if somebody wants to do it quicker than that, maybe they come to the BZA and ask for additional splits. I'm okay with that. What about the group?
You know, the way it is now, if you need to sell ground off to pay your property taxes, once you've done it 4 years in a row, you're out of splits. Now you lose your farm because you can't sell 2 acres off of it to pay your taxes.
Well, I had a friend in Clark County that bought a big piece of property 30 years ago. And every 4 years he sold a hunk off of it. That was his retirement. New horse trailer. I want to go see, Yellowstone. I'll wait till next year because I want to sell that piece of property. That's all he did with it.
I think 2 years pretty much cures the problem, except for a few special instances where someone did have a larger piece and wanted to cut it in smaller. I think at that point they come to the BZA and ask. If we turn them down, they only have to wait 2 more years and they can do it without asking.
Or they can just sue us. I don't think we've ever won a case.
Yeah, we don't ever win.
Do I have a motion in form of that?
This would be our proposal because we'll probably have to do advertise as a legal notice before we
Yeah.
vote, right?
So, yeah.
We have to advertise it as legal notice, or the commissioners do?
No, I would,
Well, is this that kind of, it's, yeah, I mean,
I think we send it, I thought in the past, we formed it here. We sent it to the commissioners as our recommendation. The commissioners advertised it, whatever it had to be twice or once, and then they voted on it.
yeah,
That was
because
my
it's something,
understanding of the past.
yeah, it's coming from us. So we could just, just say this is going to be our proposal to the commissioners and explain why that is, and then they would advertise it. And that's probably a thing. They probably would do several readings actually on that as well.
Right.
But we're gonna have to come with, I guess, a cogent argument as to why we're asking this and why. So is the proposal then 4 splits every 2 years off of a parent parcel?
That's what I would propose.
I would vote for that.
And never split off less than 1 acre.
yeah, you couldn't split off any less than what our ordinance would.
Yeah. And we've already put that part in play.
I think you have to put that, as long as it's not a joint in the, if a farmer has a piece over here and the next guy has a piece over here, and this guy wants to buy a half an acre off of this because it gives him a roadway or makes it easier for him to get in, I don't think we need to make them do an acre.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, they just need to know, if they're gonna go less than that, just know they're gonna buyer beware. I mean, you can't build on that. He may just want a half an acre because
To
I
add
want
to
someplace
his,
to sit.
to add to his 3 that he already has.
But they're gonna have to get a variance to do that because.
No, I have a disclaimer, Stan. I can't legally not split it and transfer it, but there's a disclaimer that they can't build on it without going through the proper channels.
I think that.
Well, my motion would be to, 4 splits every 2 years.
I have that as a
I'd be happy
motion.
with
Do I
that.
have that as a second?
I will second that.
All right, so we're looking at 4 years or 4 splits with a 2-year moratorium. So if I split my property today,
Then it won't see it to start.
I could do it again in 2028.
Just like we said before on some of the stuff we've done. When we make a
I
rule,
guess it depends
or
on
a
if you have a parent
recommendation,
parcel or not, right?
if we see problems to that down the road, we don't have to wait 20 years to try to fix it. If something comes up unexpected that we didn't think about in this meeting, I think we're gonna deal with them and one of them in just a minute. We can revisit this in a year or 2 years
Yeah.
and fine tune it to what it really needs to be.
Well, probably everybody at this table is going to.
I have a motion, I have a second
On the way home.
on the 4 splits every 2 years. I'm gonna do this again by roll call. My answer is yes.
My answer is yes.
My answer is yes.
I'm gonna vote no.
My answer is yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no as well.
What was that?
He has,
I'm gonna vote no.
Yes.
Six yes, 2 no.
6, so that carried 4 and 2.
This a few times.
That recommendation is 4 and 2. Kind of digesting that. My brain's just rolling around. Easement. What do we want to do on that?
Same thing I brought up last meeting. I think when we did the 1 acre, 100-foot road frontage. We failed to take into account the easement issue. I proposed at that time that we change it one way or the other to say 100-foot road frontage unencumbered. Or we change it to be 150-foot road frontage because we require a 50-foot easement if you're going to give an easement. If we could run into problems down the road with a 100-foot easement or 100-foot road frontage, and we're having to, if someone gives an easement through there that's 50 feet, that does not allow enough room to build a house and do it properly with the septic field and all that. I think we should right our error here tonight, and I propose two ways to do it. One with say that the brawl has to say 100-foot unencumbered by any easements to build a home on, or we can change it to 150-foot frontage from here on. That will take care of the easement issue. I think either of those proposals will work. But I open to anybody else's input, and then do you like one of those better than the other?
I have one overall question. This one, I guess I was dreaming about. I got a friend of mine, empty lot, not an empty lot, but a lot they don't own is connected to them. The easement is through a neighbor's property and not the road. You can't change an easement, can you?
Only with the other property owner's approval. You can't make anyone do it. The way I understand it.
What'd you say, Mark?
You can mutually change an easement. Once an easement is created, it travels with the property. If I have an easement across your property and I buy your property, then that easement dissolves. If I have an easement across your property and you and I mutually agree that I no longer need that easement, you can vacate that easement.
Just need to be recorded. You can move to extinguish an easement as well. If the easement hasn't been used for a certain amount of time, you could just ask that it just be, yeah.
So it would take a newly created piece of property for this easement. I'm trying to figure out when we would need this.
When you need an easement? Is that
No.
the question?
No. Easements are all established. So it would be if we took a piece of property, and let's say built homes around it, but the center of it stayed agriculture, somebody wanted to farm it, somebody's gonna have to give an easement up to that property. Is that what? Am I making-
Egress easement to get onto it, yes. If it was on your property, that's the property that you would,
I think the problem, Mark pointed it out after we did the law. We did this 100-foot. There could be people that grant easements, and then some people come back later and think that they have a building lot because they have the road frontage and they have the size, but there's an easement on it, and it's really not going to allow them to build properly there. Not the way we want them to.
right, you can't interfere with an easement, but usually easement's given for a reason. There's an, I'm going to build behind you, so I need an ingress, for basically a driveway. So usually a standard driveway is 10 to 12 feet. So you get an easement, the person that owns the property has to grant that easement.
Correct. What I'm saying is an easement was maybe is on a piece of property, but that only allows maybe an easement's on two pieces of property. 25 foot of it's on one lot, 25 foot of it's on another. Now you've choked those lots down to 75 feet wide.
That's where the unencumbered would come in.
That's where it comes unencumbered. If anybody's going to do this and grant easements, they need to leave at least 100 foot for that house to be built.
Is this
So we can write it as being an unencumbered 100
what it
feet.
said? It
I really like the 100-foot unencumbered versus the 150-foot.
Yeah, because you might,
If you've got a 900-foot wide piece of property along the road and it's 500 feet deep and you have to have 100 foot to build on, if you make that 150, you've cut down 3 lots.
Right.
And if the ideal here is trying to help save some farm ground, well, you just cost 3 lots or whatever on 900 feet of road. I like the 100-foot unencumbered.
There's your original ordinance. And it said in there, before the change that you guys made just a couple of years ago, had 200 feet on its shortest side, contains a minimum of 2 acres in addition to any land encumbered by the legal access easement. So you're basically just wanting to put that language back in your new.
And cut it down to
Is
the
that-
100-foot wide.
Like this is the original, what they modified, right?
Yes, yes.
Was 2002-1A is the original. They modified to the 100-foot rule, correct?
Yes.
So in this one, it actually says that you have 200 feet access, or the access is through a legal access easement, if not less than 50 feet in width. 200 feet on your shortest side contains a minimum of 2 acres in addition to any land encumbered by the legal access easement. I think, if I'm not speaking for John, but I think he just wants to add this legal easement language back into what they modified just a couple of years ago. Because it's there in the original.
The first 2 nights we talked about this. No, it's 3.
Quite a few.
Just trying to get unencumbered in there.
We actually tried to stop it and get it changed before they voted on it.
Yeah.
But they had already advertised it and done all
Right,
that,
yeah,
and it
yes.
came up and they voted it yes.
yeah,
So
I would say that if I bought a piece of property with 100 feet of road frontage, well, I'm not granting an easement to anybody anyway. I have to grant the easement on my property.
Right.
If the other person next door, I mean, it's still owned, that's what I'm saying,
Has to
they
be
would
an
have
agreement.
But you
to,
could
but
buy-
they only would need to grant an easement if they need people to access back there. I guess that's what I'm trying to.
You could buy a piece of property, which I don't guess we're in charge of making people do their due diligence, but a person could buy a piece of property that had an easement already established, but they think it's a building lot and it's not.
That's on them.
They
That's
better
why you do
their
title
business.
searches.
They better be-
And you go through and you make sure you see every easement of record. Unfortunately, I think you have gotten lazy over the years as attorneys and just said easements of record, and then, well, there could be easements recorded anywhere, so you really have to like dig those out, but that's,
I think,
But I
like you
don't-
said, if
Yeah.
that line was added to that
Change.
thing that we already did, it would cover the process.
yeah.
Mark
That's
knows
just
more about it than us.
That's
Right,
just
yeah.
an amendment to what you've done to add language that.
Basically, we're
Well,
just trying to clean up what we boo-boo.
Like I said, it was, nobody thought about it. We had already sent it past. The next meeting, Mark come and said, whoa, wait a minute, I think we got a problem. And we said it, I was like, oh, yes, I never thought of that. We need to fix it before it goes through. Well, they'd already taken it, advertised it, and it went
Yeah.
through not the way we truly intended.
So you want this line to say you now has 100 feet on its shortest side and contains a minimum of 1 acre in addition to any land encumbered by the legal
Yes.
access
There
easement.
you go.
Yes, exactly.
That's an easy fix. That's just an amendment to that.
Right, yeah,
And,
I guess it
so-
would just cover if there's easements. I mean, I
Right.
don't know if there is an easement or not.
I think that would
so-
just cover the county saying if there was an easement and didn't do a title search or do your due diligence, you were, and didn't find it, then you
Might own a
can't build on it
baseball
because it exists in the legal access easement system.
Yeah.
So I think
Let's,
that just be an
I'm fine
amendment
with
to
that
it.
language. I mean, I think that cures the problem. What's everybody else think?
mean, if it was there before and I wasn't here then, but if all you did was change from 200 to 100, 2 acres to 1 acre, makes logical sense to add the
Yeah.
same language.
Plus,
Is it?
If
Okay.
you look at the dates on that JR, you'll find out we done that just short.
I need to get.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 2011.
We changed that.
JR,
Sir.
No, 'cause it's-
you're gonna be the one that's gonna make the motion,
Okay.
That has to change.
and you're making the motion based upon what you just read.
I can do that. So I will make a motion that we amend
Well, that's-
the previously passed easement ordinance to now state that it will have, the property will have 100 feet on its shortest side and contains a minimum of 1 acre in addition to any land encumbered by the legal access easement, which is in line with the previous ordinance 2002-1A.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'd second that.
I have a second.
I'm sorry, who did the motion and second?
I did, and White with the second.
We'll again do a roll call vote.
Real quick, I may have my wires crossed, but JR's making an amendment to ordinance that's no longer valid.
No.
Like the new ordinance reads,
I was gonna
100
say,
feet of road frontage, not
Yeah.
100 feet on the smallest side. So
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to bring that up, but I think we need to make the amendment and the wording to match our new.
To the September ordinance?
Correct, not because what he just proposed, I don't
Yeah,
think is
it
gonna hold
pulled
water.
up.
What he's saying, I think we agree with, but that's. not-
Right, the language isn't the same. I couldn't find that one. It's a mess looking through these. I haven't had a chance to organize them quite yet. But I think if that's what it says in the one you guys did, then it would need to be the 100 feet of road frontage and contains a minimum of 1 acre in addition to any land encumbered by the legal access easement system.
where,
That sound right?
I don't exactly remember how
What
the
it
wording
says.
is.
is
I
it
know what you're-
already say, what are you looking at?
This is
That's the old one.
the
in
old,
book.
that's the original that they worked off of from
I was gonna say, 'cause the only thing
2002.
I was gonna say, if it still says that in this and we just change those language, that wording's already there. We didn't take any language out. We just changed the,
Yeah, we did. It just
We
says, yeah, it
Oh.
just says 1 acre.
okay, well, we shouldn't have done that. We just wanted to change.
Yeah, that's
We just,
what I
all we wanted to
that's
change
what I
was
figured
just
we
the 1
would've
acre and the 100,
just
not
changed the
anything
numbers.
Let's,
else.
But
let's concentrate a second.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna need you guys to withdraw that motion.
I withdraw my previously stated motion.
Okay,
I'll withdraw my second.
all right. What is the new motion?
Do we have the actual language of this, Stacy? Or do you know when
I
it
need
was,
to get a laptop.
do you know when it was passed?
It was signed September of 2025 by the commissioners.
So it would have been a meeting.
I think-
I say, actually, the only thing we changed, I think, should have been 5A, which was the minimum lot requirement, should have changed from 2 acres to 1 acre and the street frontage to 100 feet, and the set, I would want 5B, which would have been the setbacks,
They changed.
or county roads, did they see? Change that, we changed those, didn't they?
Mhm.
So that would have changed. So that, I'm saying, I think at least I thought our intent was modifying paragraphs 5A in the zoning ordinance for the minimum lot requirements,
That it
5C for the
reference
minimum
that.
setbacks.
So, all right. I
So
can fix
nothing
this.
else we didn't modify.
Here's the actual ordinance. 2025 OR 10.
JR, do you see a width to depth ratio in there?
It's on the last page.
It's down here. This is the only, it's A, B, and C. It says minimum lot size, 1 acre in applicable residential zoning districts A1. Minimum road frontage, 100 minimum road frontage, which I'm guessing should be feet. It just says 100 minimum road frontage in applicable residential zoning districts A1. Setback requirements is 10 feet from sides, 30 feet from rear, 55 from road.
And that should say county road.
Should be. Which somebody wrote something on there, but I can't.
Yeah, they had to,
County.
the county
Center.
road, it added in
Center.
county.
Center Road, from Center Road
Oh.
is what I think it says.
Okay, it should say
That, it should say
County.
center of county road, right? You want to be 55 from center
Yeah,
of
it's from the
county
center of
road.
the road, yeah. I
And
think it
do
is.
we need to state state highway?
So-
And there's 3.
What about this? Why don't we type up a proposal? And I know we're kicking the can down the road here, but type up a proposal. Let's look at it in the April meeting, make sure the language is correct and pass it then.
We did this,
40 million times.
yeah.
Well,
I
that's what
think-
I'm saying,
think
like,
it
I
came down
know,
to The only thing we needed to add, 100 foot of unencumbered road frontage. I think that cures it, but.
so we need to ask them to change again 5A to add in 100 feet unencumbered.
5B,
5B would be the road. I'm going to switch to the old one, the 2002 on the screen.
I was gonna say, like, I'm
But-
looking at 2011, the one I
mean,
I got.
and I can make it a little bit bigger here, but this paragraph to me reads a lot cleaner than the ABC on the other one. So
could we just change exactly the way it's written there, the 200 feet to 100 feet and the 2 acres to 1 acre and adopt it as it is there?
Well, I guess, but when people go look at our zoning ordinances, what are they supposed to look at? I want like everybody looking at the same document.
Well-
I'm sitting there looking at a different document and going, so.
I'm confused because we're talking 50-foot easement here, but I've heard 100.
Yeah.
No,
No, 100 of
50.
road foot. This is in 2002. This was the ordinance then, and it was changed to this.
And is this A1? Well, wait a minute. Is that what you're looking at for
Yeah.
A1?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because 2002 doesn't already exist anymore. When they got
Correct.
the 2011 ordinance, that would have replaced that. So,
2011 up.
There's a 2011 one?
yes.
Okay.
Can you put that back up there?
Which one, sir?
That first one you had.
2002 1A.
Yeah, that's it.
Right there.
She's saying that one got updated in 11. Is that right?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
That's the first time I've seen that one.
but the newest one then dealt with the setbacks
The
too.
setback also. So, I mean, I think, and that's why I say I hate to be the kick the can down the road guy, but it would almost make more sense for Carla or Stacy or whoever to take this and the new, merge them together with all the
Yeah,
language
it's-
correct, then present it, and we vote on that.
I agree with that.
Trust me, it's
Yeah.
so strange because it says 2011. That's what the title is, but then it has adoption of June 2024.
I feel good.
And
This is the whole thing,
Okay, because I don't.
Folks, let's,
which it repealed
it's
1990.
growing late, my back is on fire. Let's take this one. Let's take this one, prepare a new statement that clarifies the 50-foot easement. And we'll vote on it at the next meeting.
Is,
okay, yes, well, like I said, we need to, I
so,
guess, everybody get what the current ordinance is. I don't know what this is.
It's the September 11th.
No, I'm
Or
talking about
September.
entire thing. He's looking at he's looking at something completely different than I am when I go into lot sizes.
Are you looking at hold on, go back to the first page. Okay, you're looking at zoning ordinance. Are you looking at zoning ordinance or subdivision?
the latest one that I was looking at is labeled the ordinance 2025 OR 10, which is ordinance amending certain provisions of the
Yeah,
Scott
that's the
County
September one.
zoning
Right,
ordinance.
which changed in my mind from what I was looking. I sent them and said, we wanted to change agricultural in that zone, the lot size requirements, which was 5A, and And the one I'm looking at, that was the minimum lot and the street frontage, also the setbacks, which was 5C. Not like, that's just what, so that in my mind, we were modifying this. It was going to, this would be struck out, this would be replaced. 5A would now read minimum lot size requirements, area 1 acre, street frontage 100 feet. And that minimum setbacks on a county road from center line would be, well, whatever we changed them to, because I don't remember that. And then if we had to do that, that's what we asked them to change, and they did change. So to me, that text should have been replaced,
Right.
struck out and put in there. And she said it's just added on to the back. So that's why I was like, oh my goodness, that's really confusing. If somebody goes looks at it, if they don't look at the back, they're going to say, well, I guess still need two.
Right.
I don't understand that.
So
But that's what I'm saying.
Can we
So
just
you're looking at-
change B? Can we just change B to the, request them to change 5 whatever B to say what we need to say?
Oh, you're saying B on that. It would be 5.
It is here
And
too.
5A2 on this one, on the actual.
I think it is too. Up here's where it says 5A.
We
Somebody
need-
just
we need
did
to
this
talk.
poorly.
We need to talk from the same document,
Yeah,
because I'm confused.
This is the latest one. That's what they passed.
yes, the same. It
What
was
do we
gonna-
need to add with that one to get our point clear?
Pardon?
That document there, what do we need to add?
Well, I think what you're wanting to add, if I understand, is that we want to say, instead of just the street frontage 100 feet, 100 feet unencumbered.
Exactly.
That's all we want to change.
That's all we
That's-
want to do.
Yes, and so what I'm saying is that we want you to change, actually to be specific. If this is the one, 5A2 needs to read street frontage 100 feet unencumbered, not just street frontage 100 feet.
Correct.
Also, Mark just brought up, in the city, it's been brought up, the width to depth ratio.
Yeah,
Years ago, when the thing was Marysville Lake, whatever's going on out there now, the, whatever you call it,
Still waters.
Stillwater. They asked me to create a parcel for them, and I did. And the zoning, or the girl's name was Alexandria. I don't remember who Alexandria was, but she was before April and after Jeff, I think. And she told me that there was a width to depth ratio in the ordinance of 3:1.
in
200
city,
feet of frontage and 2 acres is 2 to 4. 100 feet of frontage and 1 acre is 1 to 4. So if there is such a thing as a width to depth ratio, and I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying she turned the request down using that reasoning. Where are we on our 100 feet of frontage and an acre, because that's 43,560 times 100. And that gives a little credence maybe to you, John, with your 150 feet of frontage.
It
And
cures that.
400, because that gets it down below 3:1. And I'm not trying to start trouble, I just don't want to
right.
go through all these hoops and then have somebody come along and say, hey, remember, there's a width to depth ratio.
Thoughts?
Mark brought that up 6 or 8 months ago. He and I were the only ones that voted against it. And because that, for that reason, you know, if it's a 150-foot lot, it's 290 feet deep. And I thought, for the reasons he brought up, that's why I voted against it. I thought the 150 was a better fit personally, but that's why it's a group decision. But whatever we vote on, part of the problem was what we voted on here is not what got presented to the commissioners. So if we're going to vote on anything, I'd like to see it in writing, and that exact document is what gets sent to the commissioners. That, because we can't remember from one meeting to the next what was said, and if it's in writing, it can't change.
Well, would the ratio not be the exact same on 1 acre and 100 feet, or 2 acres and 200 feet? That would be the exact same ratio, wouldn't it?
No, 2 acres and 200 feet of frontage is still 435 feet deep.
Yeah.
And that's 2 to 43, or 200 to 430, or however you do that, but it still comes in about 2 to 1. But 100 feet of frontage in an acre is 1 to 4, or 1 to 4.3. And if there is a width to depth ratio, which is what that lady told me, I cannot refute that, and I also cannot confirm it. But I think it's maybe something that we should consider before we.
In studying
Well, is
this,
that, did you say city? Because I'm just, again, I'm just looking at
Well,
the
that-
dimensional requirements in our ordinance for a A1 says nothing about a ratio. It's minimum lot size, minimum setbacks, minimum lot or maximum lot coverage, minimum first floor area, minimum width of primary structure, maximum height. And then talks about manufactured homes, and then it goes on to talk about single family residential and R1.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only point I'm bringing up is the lady who was in that position told me at that time that we didn't meet the width to depth ratio. And I'll just
Yeah.
say that to make sure that
Right, yeah.
we don't overlook something.
I do think for what we're talking about, we got a lot of voices. I kind of want to go back to what Matt just said. Let's get this thing exact. How we want it to look, how we want it to say, and we'll vote on that. It's an entirety. If there's any 4-to-1, 3-to-1, 2-to-1 that we can research and find in the next month, then we got to apply that. But we also got to be able, I like the word unencumbered. I think a lot of people, well, I just bought a piece of property, I ought to be able to build a house on. I got an acre. And the reality is they can't. You know, a long time ago, I dealt with a piece of property. This board did. The guy was going to build a house, he was going to do this, he's going to do that. Couldn't do any of it because of the power lines across the property. And he was not aware of that. He was heartbroken.
Yeah.
So I think we probably ought to be sure of that. And then with that way we vote. It kicks the can down. But I also think it does that one more meeting and it's going to be very clear. That way we can work off of one document.
If we go to
Yes.
150 feet, it does not need to be unencumbered, does it?
I don't think so. And that fixes Mark's depth ratio. It actually makes it a lot prettier lot rather than a runway.
And we still, I think, need to consider the easement width. Because at this point, the ordinance says 50 feet, that the easement has to be a minimum of 50 feet wide.
I wouldn't go to open that can of worms yet, but a 50-foot easement is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it is. I'd say that's not a driveway is 10 to 12 feet.
Let's fight them one at a time.
Hey.
That's why another thing, unencumbered kind of
It
takes
just
in
says,
whatever
yeah,
we
it just
decide
says,
on.
yeah.
But I think that's another fight we need to take on because 50 feet is a massive easement.
Gary, could I propose to the board a motion to table the easement ordinances until April with a review of a proposal then?
I have a motion. Folks, I have a motion to table this pending further review. And at our April meeting, we will have a cohesively prepared something that we can pass. Do I have I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that way, I'm just gonna say, we've had a lot in the last year. Got some notes I've made, some notes you've made, some notes this person made. We can kind of pull this together and make sure we've got everything we need in a fashion folks can understand.
Yeah, I know it's 126 pages long, but I think we all may need a physical copy
to see.
of
what-
this. And maybe we don't have to solve it next week, but we probably need to go through every single page of that and see if it needs to be updated. But right now, let's just do, I'm not trying to do that one meeting, but
I think,
I'm not sure that we're even looking
Yeah,
at the same
I know.
stuff. So,
I think Matt's spot on. We gotta have something, either a document, electronic we can review, something in our hands, something to say, this is what this board wants to send to the commissioners.
Yes.
So we get exactly what everybody wants, or the majority of this board wants in front of them. They vote on it and it's a done deal.
And I agree with that. The longer I get, the more my mind's
Yeah, I'll get-
clouded.
And the last one, I'm the one that caused all this. The last one was that I had on the paper, and I didn't bring that back with me, was the solar ordinance, that we have nothing to address
right,
that.
yes.
And I brought it up. Where should we insert that in our ordinances?
There's major movement on that.
And
in our board
I
right
will
now.
also say, in my mind, it's not limited to solar.
It's not that I said
Right,
energy
we could do that,
production,
Yeah.
battery storage, energy production. It could be solar, it could be wind, it could be whatever. But I said anything above what would be used for one typical home or a farm should have a different zoning, and it should be specified in the ordinance. Right now, we're wide open. I can't believe some big company hasn't come in and bought something and said, you have nothing to stop me. I'm going to do what I want.
Right, yeah.
Well, the other part of that is, what is needed for a household?
And we can word it as typically needed for a household or a farm. I could see farms going to some energy production to run their farms in the future with technology. What about you, Matt? You seeing that?
Well, I was at a place in Salem, and
On tax.
I won't call it a commune,
Tax breaks. It's not
but there was
economic,
5
it's
houses
tax
being
breaks.
run off a solar field
That could be in the future. be back.
and a windmill.
So you're not very.
It's just the way they wanted to live.
It's not
I think it'd be nice to have a parameter for those type of things so that they can, if they do come in here, they have a checklist of this is exactly what we have to as a business.
And then I think also too, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. Let's say we tacked on solar farms, this, that, onto an industrial zoning. We got to have the language in the industrial zoning. This is, okay, here's the minimum size, here's what you have to have. You know, no smokestacks over X, Y, Z. So I think that one's still pending.
So if someone come in tomorrow and wanted a permit on a solar field, would I give an ILP?
I don't think we have anything.
We have nothing. They could walk in and say, you've got nothing to stop me. I'm building what I'm building.
I guess maybe in a way we kind of do. I mean, depending on what zone it is, it says like in agricultural, it specifically states permitted uses, and then what can be for conditional use. So I guess in a way, 'cause I don't think solar's obviously was even contemplated necessarily back then. So in a way, we do. It's not a specific, like at least in agriculture,
So
like
what you're
permitted
saying,
use. So
Carl, what you're saying then is, if somebody comes in and wants a solar, it's gonna be in front of the BZA.
right, because I think, and even then it might be even difficult because I'm not even sure it's one of those that says it would be a permitted with a variance. Although there's kind of a catch-all down there, I think, and said any other that would be relevant. So yes, they would, because it spells out in agriculture what absolutely you don't need a variance for. This is what you can do. You know, single family, yep, blah, 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 blah. Solar's not in there. So yeah, they would have to come before the BZA.
Would it not, so it wouldn't fall under an ILP construction?
I don't think so. And depending on what they're looking at, but I'm envisioning those panels that go on for on and on and on and on. The solar farm type of situation.
But there's as quick as this changing, I mean, now they're, wind
Right.
is not actable here, but now they're talking about many nuclear generators that are getting used in places.
Is this another one that we need to come up with a proposal and have a document to review?
I think we're gonna have to.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
Working
really-
document to move
And
forward.
my wording was energy production, battery storage. That's the best I could come up with. If anybody's got better, put it out there.
How about you take this homework home with you and come up with something while you're just loafing? Like you did last month? Maybe you can find your notes in your truck full.
They're there. I just didn't bring them in.
Well, I know some people on some boards in neighboring counties that are battling similar situations, so I can reach out to them, see if they have anything. Maybe we could start that as a working copy to get some kind of groundwork for whatever this board wants to put together to move forward.
I'm not talking about somebody that wants to put solar on their house.
Right.
I'm not talking about somebody who wants to put a windmill in the back.
Eric? You okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here. and think. Two things, Carla said two things. Next meeting, can we have a definitive thing on the easements so we can vote on? And the teacher in me is gonna call it a rough draft. A concept of what,
It's not easements we're tackling yet. It's
Right,
road
well,
frontage and.
I mean, what I really
acres.
is like, as far as, everybody needs to get this, and we need to review it, because I wonder if we would want to change enough that maybe we consider repealing and replacing the entire,
126 page document.
we couldn't do that in one sitting.
Hmm.
But we may
I was
go
gonna
through
say-
and there's like, hey, we
Yeah.
just need to modify this, that, or the other, but it would be, it seems like we're just throwing attachments onto this old one, and I'd kind of rather have a brand new
That's-
2026 zoning ordinance.
and then I'd like to have something in concrete that we discussed from all these different items that we can pass and move on, get off the X. And maybe some type of rough draft of alternative
Energy.
energy.
Energy, okay.
Where would that land and what is needed?
Look around, but I don't know if that would be, we'll have to decide if we're trying to add in a different, I don't think you want to add a new zone, right? Or are you wanting to just decide if it's going to be, it can be on agricultural, if certain things, it's going to be an industrial. I mean, I guess depending on where we decide where it would go is where we'd put it in the
Right.
ordinance.
Well, we probably would need one for each zoning, wouldn't we? Because if they asked to put it on ag land, or if they asked to put it on a residential property.
Well,
Or a
I think
business
you're not
property.
talking about the ones that are just, I'm going to put a solar on top of my house. I mean,
No.
I was
Right, like
thinking,
a field.
right, I don't know that
I
I don't, R1, I don't think
propose that
R2, R3 should
that
not be an option.
I went to the extreme. I propose that we make that under the
Industrial.
industrial zoning.
So an ag, like if you want it on your ag land, you ask to rezone it for industrial because due to energy production field or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
The other part of that is,
I ain't sure that's the right way to do it. That's the only way I could think of.
Right, I don't know, me personally, I just want to discourage rezoning, because then we're going to get into the spot zoning, and they changed it over here, and this over here is industrial, this one's over here, it's, maybe if we consider it on agricultural, we might need to decide what are the parameters that could happen, and still we need to come for some sort of variance, or if you're going to say that, and I would be hesitant to say it's a permitted use, because then anybody could just come in and not even ask for permission.
that's my point.
And it may be one we can say, this is a possibility on agricultural, you need to come here and make your case to the board for a variance.
And I think
Conditional use
industrial,
variance.
it can't be automatic under
Right,
any of
exactly.
it.
Yes. So that's, I guess, a decision we just have to make of whether we want to
Right.
say it's industrial, maybe with the opportunity to do it in agriculture, or I can look and we'll try to look at others and see what they have. If everybody's got some.
Somebody's got it. Something. But I know down in our southeastern part of this county, they're touching a lot of property that's battling the same
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
Well, Gary, do you want a motion to table the solar?
Yes.
I'd make a motion to table the solar farm zoning to the April meeting for further discussion with a possibility of a rough draft to review.
Do I have a second of that?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Any other additional business?
I may have missed it, but for the split / easement conversation next time, Gary, I think you had asked if Carla could put something together. Carla, you said we should probably review the whole document.
Well,
So,
I'm
like-
just saying, at some point in time, I would like us to go through it and see if there's a whole bunch of things that, if there's more that we're looking through it, and good grief, this has been 20 some odd years ago, maybe we should update this as well.
So in the rough draft, should we look at the latest change and just add the one word for now? And maybe take your 126 page document, break it up into sections and begin looking through those?
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think we agreed on the split. That's going to them as 4 and 2.
Right, and I'm, like I said, and that
Is
is
that
somewhere
right?
in the subdivision ordinance, so I don't know if we need to kind of
But-
split that into put that into agricultural too. I don't think, especially in the zoning ordinance, the splits are necessarily in the agricultural section. It's in the subdivision section, correct? So just
I
the,
think so.
yeah,
But you want it in writing at the April meeting before it goes in front of the commissioners to look at, right?
I don't
Split.
think you can get it to them.
oh, that won't be, yeah,
Till
we
April
would have
anyway.
to determine the language, then we'd have to do a document that I would present to.
I think then it would hit
Yeah.
them their second meeting of April. If it was passed through here, we agreed to it, hit them their second meeting of April would probably be the best you're gonna do, in my opinion.
Like a lot of these standard ones, or really, it's not gonna be that much, you know, the Article 1 is probably not gonna be changed, it's just the
Okay,
title, it's the defined words, it's that stuff, we probably don't need to do that, it's more the meat of the,
I gotta back up here. You all know the procedure better than me. I think we voted to send it away. That's supposed to happen, or
The
we need to
split
rescind that if
rule.
we all wanna look at it before it goes.
The split rule you're ready to send now as was the vote, correct, Stacy?
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Okay.
Did you want to look at something in writing before it goes to the commissioners, or does that go on to the commissioners?
I think it's pretty simple if we don't add anything
Yeah,
to it, what we voted on here.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't be
Well,
bad
it's
just to send it
two-
to everybody, to make sure that the wording is correct.
4 splits every 2 years. If it's gonna go written any different than that, we need to rescind that and look at it, table it, look at it
It
again.
doesn't need to be rescinded. That goes as it goes.
Yeah, 4 splits
It
every
just
2
needs
years,
to
and
be
I add
recorded.
on, off of a parent parcel. Is
It
that
just
what
needs to
those-
be recorded.
Or do you want a parcel that's existing right
I think
now?
just off of an existing parcel, I don't think, because then we gotta go
Well-
back and look for years and find what the parent parcel was, right?
That's what I'm saying. I can tell that because in your parcel number, the last 6, so the 3, there's
Yeah, here.
groups of 3. That second to the last group tells me how many splits have been off a parent parcel.
Okay,
So
so it's a no, it doesn't matter if it says that or not to you, or you want,
I
how do
know.
you want
Right,
it?
right, which one?
How do you want it?
this, so there is no split there.
Okay,
So
Just
the
off
way
the
we
parcel.
proposed it, is that okay?
No, say that again, I'm sorry.
The way we proposed and vote on it, is that okay? Is there,
Off of the parent parcel, that's fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
okay.
So when there's a split, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll go on.
Okay. And then you would just
And
be
then I
able
just bring
to,
up the tax document, or the tax
No, we got one more thing.
program and see when
Right.
it was split.
Got one more thing, folks. Our next meeting falls on Veterans Day,
No, November.
no,
With the-
number one.
November meeting, excuse me. With the BZA, we voted to do it a week later on the 18th. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Is that okay with you all?
Is that contingent on us having business? To
Yes.
even
Yeah.
see, you know,
Probably just finish up this by then.
No.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It's 8:42.
Hold on.